Doom Eternal's first narratively driven DLC, the Ancient Gods PT1, reminds me a lot of the early days of my childhood. Growing up in an all-boys home, I was viciously punished for playing with dolls, punished in a fashion very reminiscent of being punished for wanting to play Doom Eternal my way, all rocket launcher grenades and infinite blood punch. Luckily for this reviewer and the game's saving grace, splitting a demon in half with a satisfyingly bloody glory kill makes me feel like the badass I was meant to be the same day I put on my Barbie Halloween costume, which I just so happen to be wearing while struggling through this entire DLC, which is going to run you about 35 hours, which in turn depends on your skill level, so your mileage may vary, especially if you're jumping into the Ancient Gods DLC for the very first time and completely bypassing the main game of Doom Eternal.
Whenever you're ready.
The Ancient Gods DLC picks up right where the main story of Doom Eternal ended, with Earth now saved from the hordes of demons and the alien robot world of Urdak invaded by the armies of Satan himself. Doom Man's mission takes you to environments never before seen in the Doom universe. From a giant oil rig in the middle of a hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean, to the foggy, bloody swamps of hell that really more resemble the streets of any modern city prior to 2020. id Software really goes above and beyond in the new dynamic weather system as well, with rain now appearing on your weapons, blinding fog that is really just put in place to fuck with you, and it is all very beautifully made. Throw on top of that the wonderfully crafted but horribly mixed music by Mr. Levis and Andrew Holsholt, and it almost dulls the pain of Mick Gordon's departure from the series. But as they say, graphics, music, ambience, overall initial impressions are all just skin deep. id Software really made it apparent from the start that their main goal with this DLC, considering the game hasn't received any type of content in almost 9 months since it first came onto the scene, their main goal with this DLC is to rip away the security blanket, so to speak. In the last 9 months, people have gotten incredibly comfortable with the same rhythm and style of playing a specific way and not really being challenged. Besides them showing you what it's like to see and fight through the Doom guy's helmet, getting all foggy from the heavy breathing he's very clearly doing in that thing, they also added in a new mini-boss inspired from the Ghostbusters novel. And let's be honest, if you're hopping into the DLC like I was, someone who hasn't played Doom Eternal since it initially launched almost 2 years ago, I'm about as experienced as a virgin at a swingers party. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. And just like someone who I would imagine to be in that exact situation, it took a lot of explanation, fear, trial, error, and tears to finally figure out what is going on here. You see, whenever these ghosts are brought into any arena fight, you're up for a pretty big challenge. It's a 3-stage fight. Any demon in this arena can randomly become possessed by this ghost. You then have to kill the host of the ghost, where then the ghost is gonna pop out, and it's where at this moment you have to hit it with as much damage from the minigun as you possibly can. Once enough damage is inflicted on the ghost, it's then going to possess one other demon, and then you have to do that 2 more times until where the ghost finally disappears. This new ghostly apparition is hands down more terrifying than the giant tentacle or any marauder encounter I've ever come up against. id Software has managed to very cleverly spice up every single encounter by having you identify, prioritize, and kill the host of this phantom menace, an ordeal that takes 3 times and is very demanding resource and attention wise. And then throw into account that I can't fucking see, and I would say they achieved their goal trying to make this a lot harder. Ancient Gods PT1 is more Doom, more Eternal. It's Doom Eternal After Hours Handicapped Phantom Edition. They've managed to take the core of Doom Eternal and expand upon it, forcing average gamers like myself to swap more weapons in my entire arsenal to get a feel for everything at my disposal and get out of my comfort bubble. I've never relied so heavily on just the rocket launcher and the full auto shotgun like I did in the DLC. And then with id Software added in the mini boss ghost, that helped me realize how horribly underutilized the minigun with the shield mod was, which I used very profusely on my second run of the first 2 missions. I didn't actually beat the DLC. The levels are too long, but all in all, Ancient Gods PT1 is more of Doom Eternal. Fast-paced, non-stop action with wonderful environments, and like I said before, id Software managed to make the game a lot harder this time around. Although I would be failing myself and everyone else if I did leave out that with your arsenal being a little bit lighter than removing the instant kill demonic crucible, which was definitely felt throughout the course of this DLC, and with Mick Gordon no longer being with us, it's hard to rate the DLC as any higher than a 3. But considering I get to play the Ghostbusters theme while shooting at the summoner,
I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Who can you call?
and the fact that I noticed for keen-eye players, id Software actually gives you all the cheats you want, regardless if you acquired all the cheats in the base game or not. That helped bumps up the scoring all the way to a solid 7.5.
It has a little something for everyone.